Good Monday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's weather forecast, we'll be tracking a huge storm system, bringing a significant severe weather outbreak to the deep south, a winter storm and ice storm to the Midwest and northern plains, and looking at the longer range weather forecast going in through the middle of January in this video. If you guys have not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below, everyone. We're getting so close to 10,000 subscribers here. That is the next goal here this week. And also hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. I cover Canada, the United States, the tropics, and everything in between. So everybody, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my weather forecast content on this channel. Looking here at the visible satellite imagery here this morning across the United States, we have a very strong trough digging down across the southwestern United States into the Four Corners region, and we're seeing a strong jet stream moving across portions of the Great Plains this morning, bringing some cloud cover to places like Nebraska, Kansas, all the way down here into the Texas Panhandle, and this is going to be the driving force with that trough moving east and a cold front for some thunderstorm activity later on today here. You can see that trough digging down into the Four Corners region and West Texas this afternoon before ejecting into the middle of the country towards the upper Midwest as we get into Tuesday afternoon with that snowstorm on the northwest side and also that ice storm on the northwest side of that low as well. But underneath that, we're going to be talking about some significant severe weather as we head not only into today but Tuesday as well. So looking here as we get into later on this afternoon and especially overnight tonight, the Storm Prediction Center has hoisted an enhanced risk for severe weather across especially Arkansas, getting into eastern portions of Oklahoma, northeast Texas, and northwestern portions of Louisiana. This includes Little Rock, the Pine Bluff area here into Arkansas, Shreveport, Louisiana, Tyler, Texas, and just east of the I-35 corridor here from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex later on today. And walking through the potential hazards from these severe thunderstorms, we could have a significant tornado outbreak unfold here later on today across south central Arkansas, extreme southeastern Oklahoma, northeast Texas, and northwestern portions of Louisiana. That is in that 10% hatched risk for tornadoes here. But even outside of that, getting up toward the St. Louis area here, Joplin, Missouri, Jefferson City, Missouri, even getting over here toward Nashville, we still could be seeing some tornadoes outside of that area later on today, but it's really this 10% hatched area where we could be worried about those EF2 or stronger type tornadoes later on today, and especially nocturnal tornadoes overnight with the height of this event. And also looking at the wind probability, a 5, 15, even a 30% shading here, which is an enhanced area of wind across Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, northeast Texas, and eastern portions of Oklahoma. Wind gusts that could be in excess of 60 miles per hour, and then a lower end chance for hail that could be over quarter size as we get through later on today. And the reason for this is we are having an anomalously warm setup here with this system. Ahead of that cold front, temperatures will be surging into the 60s, if not middle 70s, across the deep south and the Arklatex region later on this afternoon. We got that strong cold front to the west, bringing that ice storm and that winter storm on the northwest side of the system, with those temperatures into the low to middle 20s across the upper Midwest and the Central Plains. And looking here at the moisture levels as well, those surface dew points will be rising well into the 60s, if not near 70 degrees across places like Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, and eastern Oklahoma here from the Gulf of Mexico. And this is going to spell trouble as that cold front moves off to the east here into this warm and moist environment later on today. So looking here at the noon time frame here, middle of the day, we got some scattered showers and maybe a few isolated thunderstorms developing across portions of northeast Texas and into portions of Arkansas and southeastern Oklahoma as we get to the noon time frame. A couple of these storms could be severe, mainly hail producers early on, but I do think as we get through the afternoon and into the early evening around 6 o'clock time frame, we're going to start to see some showers and storms firing up more along this cold front, and these could be damaging wind, large hail, and tornado producers as they push to the east here from the I-35 corridor on east. We also have to watch this complex of showers and storms up near the Memphis area and into northeastern Arkansas as well for some tornadic potential, as well as the damaging winds, large hail, and heavy rainfall as well. Going into the overnight hours, I think this will be the peak of the event overnight after dark towards that time frame, getting into early Tuesday morning, where we have a broken line of supercell thunderstorms across Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, East Texas, and even southeastern Oklahoma. We do have to watch out for overnight tornadoes, also damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, and the quarter size or larger type of hailstones as this moves to the east, and then that will continue to march its way off across the Tennessee Valley and the Gulf Coast as we get into the overnight hours and into the 9 a.m. time frame going into Tuesday morning. And the reason for this, we have a very dynamic mid-level jet here in the 500 millibar layer, screaming out of the south and west here, anywhere from 60 to 70 knots here in some of these areas. We also have a very robust low-level jet in the 850 millibar layer, around 65 knots or so, especially across the Arklatex and portions of the western Tennessee Valley here. That's going to provide that rotation we need for tornadic supercells later on today and going into the day on Tuesday. And looking here at the updraft helicity here with this system, this kind of shows you where those longer lived type of supercells will be. And you can see a lot of these streaks of the supercell potential will be up across portions of Arkansas, getting into northwestern and northern Louisiana, northeastern Texas, and extreme southeastern portions here of Oklahoma. And you can even see some of those areas even extending as farther north into southern portions of Missouri and western Tennessee that we have to watch for tornadic potential with those supercells later on today. We also have to worry about the flooding threat. In addition to the severe weather here, we do actually have flash flood watches and flood watches across the Arklatex here, getting up through Memphis here, just near the Little Rock area and down through Shreveport, Louisiana. And this is for some very heavy rainfall. With these thunderstorms moving through, there could be a couple of rounds of storms moving over the same areas here. We could have some supercells ahead of the main line, and then the main line itself sweeping its way on through from west to east, and that will bring a couple of rounds of some heavy rainfall, I do think, across the Arklatex and the western Tennessee Valley later on today into tonight, with rainfall amounts between 1 and 3+ inches, especially getting into eastern Arkansas, western Tennessee, and the foothills here of Missouri. And that will extend its way farther south toward the Houston area and Shreveport, Louisiana, as we get here through the next 24 to 48 hours. That's why the Weather Prediction Center has hoisted a marginal to slight risk for excessive rainfall here going through the nighttime tonight and into Tuesday morning across much of the Arklatex and into the western Tennessee Valley. If you guys are still with me here on the video, remember to press the like button down below. That's that thumbs up button here. It gets all of this weather information out to more and more people, so I definitely appreciate all of the likes out there. But yeah, as we go into the day on Tuesday, it doesn't stop there. That trough continues to eject across the upper Midwest, sweeping that cold front across the deep south and the Tennessee Valley. And we'll have another enhanced risk for severe weather across southern Mississippi, eastern portions of Louisiana, and also portions of southern Alabama as we head through the day on Tuesday. That slight and marginal risk will extend farther north into the Tennessee area and also Kentucky as well. We also have a 10% hatched areas for strong tornadoes tomorrow across portions of eastern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, and then into south central Alabama. A lower end threat for hail and wind as well with this system as it pushes to the east on Tuesday. So looking here on Tuesday around the noon time frame, we have some supercells continuing to make its way across portions of Mississippi, Louisiana, and off across to the east here into Alabama. More of a squall line, damaging wind producing storms up here into portions of Kentucky and middle Tennessee here. That's what we'll be seeing around the noon time frame. Going into the late afternoon, early evening, around the 6 o'clock time frame here, we got some scattering of supercells here with also some line segments moving through places like Georgia, portions of Tennessee, getting through Mississippi and Alabama, and that will continue straight through the evening hours and into the overnight hours here, starting the day on Wednesday, January 4th, with, again, more supercell thunderstorms out there with possible tornadoes, even some strong tornadoes, damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, and those large hailstones as well. And also that heavy rain threat, again, that will push its way off to the east. Widespread rainfall amounts across the deep south and the southeast here into the Atlanta, Georgia area, getting in toward Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, down here toward Mobile, Alabama, Panama City. Some of these areas could be seeing 1 to 3 inches worth of rain going in towards that Tuesday night time frame. And again, a marginal to slight risk for heavy rainfall across much of the Tennessee Valley and the southeast, especially centered on Alabama, North Georgia, and much of middle and eastern Tennessee as we head to that time frame. Also, the winter side of this system, we have a lot of winter alerts across the upper Midwest and the Central Plains here and back across the Rockies. In the purple shaded areas, those are winter weather advisories. The pink shaded areas here widespread across Nebraska, southern and southeastern South Dakota, getting into southern Minnesota and back across Wyoming. Those are winter storm warnings where we are gearing up for significant snowfall accumulations. And then in the purple shaded colors across far eastern Nebraska, getting into northwestern Iowa and far southern Minnesota, those are actually ice storm warnings where we're gearing up for significant icing as we head into later on today and tomorrow. So looking here on the backside of this system, we're going to have a lot of cold air wrapping around this low pressure system across the northern plains and the upper Midwest on the day here today on Monday, and that will spread its way farther to the east across these areas into Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota, and portions even of Kansas and Missouri on the backside of this cold front as we get through the day on Tuesday and going into Wednesday. And it's going to lay down a pretty significant swath of heavy snow across these areas here into the Colorado Rockies, getting back across Wyoming here, western and central portions of Nebraska, getting up into South Dakota and even southwestern Minnesota going through the day today. That will be spreading its way to the north and east across portions of Wisconsin, back into Minnesota, northwestern Iowa with that significant icing event and that ice storm as we head into the day on Tuesday here tomorrow. Looking first at those snowfall accumulations out there, pretty significant. We got a swath of about 12 to 18 inches of snow likely across central and western portions of Nebraska, spreading up into southeastern South Dakota, getting into far western and southwestern Minnesota there as well. Even a possible areas that could be picking up near 2 feet of snow is not out of the realm of possibility across northern Nebraska and southern portions of South Dakota here. So definitely going to be needing the snow blowers across these areas, but also the ice out there as well. We're going to have a pretty significant ice storm with this. With those ice storm warnings, we could be seeing ice accumulations anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice across far northeastern and eastern Nebraska, northwest Iowa, and far southern portions of Minnesota here, maybe 1/10 or 2 of inch of ice getting into western Wisconsin up there toward the La Crosse area as well, getting through the next 24 to 48 hours. And looking this here at a glance, just kind of zooming it out for you guys to show you where in the United States we're seeing this. Again, that heavy swath of snow across portions of Nebraska, South Dakota, getting into Minnesota, and then the ice storm a little bit farther south with some of those marginal air temperatures getting closer to around 30, 32 degrees here, enough for that icing to take place across the upper Midwest. And again, with this system, it's going to have moderate to major impacts, especially across portions of Iowa here, getting into southern central Minnesota, and then especially getting into South Dakota here and northern portions of Nebraska with those major impacts here. Lots of blowing snow and drifting snow, as well as the heavy snowfall rates, probably 1 to 2 inches or more per hour across those areas. And then with that ice, again, very treacherous travel across portions of eastern Nebraska and northwestern Iowa and far southern Minnesota as we get into that time frame. But longer range here, getting into that second full week in January, from January 9th through the 15th time frame, right through the middle of the month, we do look to see a lot of above normal temperatures remain across the northeastern United States and really the eastern 2/3 of the United States going through that time frame. And much of the lower 48 here is going to be very active with slightly to much above average precipitation all the way through that January 9th through the 15th time frame as well. And back across the west, another significant trough and storm system will be diving down across the northeastern Pacific Ocean, crashing into the west coast once again, going into the following week, next Monday on January 9th, and going into January 10th on next Tuesday. And that's going to be providing, again, another threat for very heavy flooding rain across northern and central California, those higher elevation snows across Washington State, Oregon, and western Idaho as we get into the day on Monday, January 9th. That will continue in a big way with heavy snow across the Sierra Nevadas going into Tuesday, January 10th, and then some heavier rain sneaking down into central portions of California, places like San Francisco and Sacramento as well, going into that time frame. Looking at those rainfall amounts, pretty significant, especially across northern and central California here here, getting into southwestern Oregon with this system on Monday and Tuesday, January 9th and 10th of next week. We could be talking about 2 to 5 inches or more of rainfall across, especially those areas into north central California and southwestern Oregon, and very heavy mountain snow, especially setting up across the Sierra Nevadas here with another couple of feet of snow across those areas going into early next week. And looking to the north, where is all the cold? Well, it's bottled up here to the north across the Arctics and northern portions of Canada here as we get into that same time frame here Monday, January 9th, and it looks to remain bottled up to the north for the most part, going right straight through the middle of the month here, going into late next week on Friday, January 13th here. Again, that polar vortex is strong, and whenever you have a strong polar vortex, it really keeps all of that cold air bottled up to the north here. When you have a weak polar vortex, you tend to see more splits and disruptions and even some stratospheric warming events, and we really don't see much of that straight through the middle of the month quite yet, but things may change as we get towards the end of January. Thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely appreciate it. Remember to like the video down below, give it a thumbs up, leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Have a great work week, everybody. Here, a great Monday, and I will see you all in the next video.